Very good. Well, again, welcome everyone to this call. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to connect with us. I am
What
excited that
results
you
in
are all here. Let me
my
give you a couple.
place at that point. And I feel like that was something that the police that's more their role.
Let's see.
Asking follow-up questions about what you meant by.
All right. If you are not presenting and you are not on mute, if you could please mute yourself, that would be very appreciated. Anyhow, welcome. I'm Christy Jones. I'm the programs manager at IAAP. And today is a really special day. We are going to connect about Summit and share some stories and what we're looking forward to and what's really inspired us having attended Summit. I'm going to give a brief overview of what we're going to do. I'm going to have some wonderful admin visionaries share their stories about how Summit has inspired them in the past. Someone might ask, what is an admin visionary? An admin visionary is a forward-thinking leader who drives innovation, aspires growth, and shapes the future of the administrative profession. They are industry leaders and lifelong learners who embrace curiosity, inclusivity, and continuous development. They share expertise to foster collaboration, strengthen the profession through collective wisdom, and champion progress and belonging within the IAAP community. We are lucky enough to have 4 of this year's admin visionaries on this call. They're all going to spend some time sharing stories, and they will also be on site at the 2025 Summit in different capacities. And so I do encourage you to connect with them if something that they have to say really inspires you. If you are new to Summit, Summit is our kind of premier annual conference for administrative professionals hosted by IAAP. It's an immersive experience where people can learn and network and hopefully find some professional development growth. Attendees connect with the community and they gain insight from industry leading speakers and explore new strategies to elevate their careers. We really hope that people walk away with having gained some cutting edge education as well as meaningful conversations. And this is a place where that inspiration starts. And so throughout this call, I'll be kind of chiming in the chat. 2 things I'm also going to share in the chat is the link to our website if you want to learn more about Summit. This would include brochures about what we are doing and resources to ask your employer for support if you're looking to attend. Additionally, I host programs office hours. They're the first and third Wednesday of every month, and I'm going to share a link on how to join. It's at 1 p.m. Central Time, and if you have questions about Summit or questions about any of our programs, that's a really great way to connect with me. So that's enough about my spiel. I am going to turn it over to our panelists now. We're going to have 4 people joining us today. First is Juanita Mort. She is here to share her story. So Juanita, I will turn it over to you for now.
Thank you, Christy. Hi, everyone. How are you? I see some familiar faces and names, so welcome. Glad to spend a few minutes with you today. I'm Juanita Mort, CAP. I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I work at Harrisburg Area Community College as the administrative coordinator to the CIO and the CISO. So our community college is the largest and oldest in Pennsylvania. We are 20,000 students strong. So our student body is larger than some 4-year institutions. So I'm also a staff trainer there and I teach adult education. I've been a proud member of IAAP for 23 years. And I've had the privilege of serving in many leadership roles in that time. But today, I want to take you back to where it all started for me. My very first summit. And for those of you on here that have been members for a long time, it was EFAM back then in Tampa, Florida in 2007. Yep, we're going way back today. But let me give you a little bit of backstory so you'll get the full impact of my memory. After the encouragement of my manager, I joined IAAP because he had seen potential that I hadn't seen yet. So I joined IAAP at my local level. I accepted leadership roles. I was connecting with individuals and networking and growing my network and doing my best to make a difference. And when I had the opportunity to represent these members at Summit, it felt like a big step. I was honored. I was really excited. But if I'm being honest, I was super, super nervous, right? So I arrived in Tampa alone. Imagine this, right? I arrive alone. I wasn't traveling with anyone, but I knew other local members would be there and was comforted in knowing that I'd see some familiar faces. But still, I knew I was stepping into something much bigger than I'd ever experienced. It was the first professional conference I'd ever attended, and the first time I'd ever been in the space designed specifically for administrative professionals. I remember walking into the Tampa Convention Center by myself, nerves all abuzz. You guys know what I mean, right? I was excited, I was hopeful, but I was also unsure. What would this experience be like? Would I find my place? Would I feel like I belonged? So now here we go with the story, right? I walked into the building, registration was on an upper floor. And I got on the escalator. And as I reached the top and I looked out at the registration area, y'all, and I saw a sea of administrative professionals. So many people just like me gathered in one space for one purpose, to learn, to grow, to connect, and to celebrate. Yes, I said celebrate our profession because we don't do that so well all the time, right? But we do in IAAP. I was completely overwhelmed, but not in a bad way, in a very profound way. That moment stopped me in my tracks. It gave me goosebumps. And if I'm honest, I have goosebumps right now, just remembering the memory with you. Because for the first time in my career, I saw us. I saw the power, the energy, and the potential of our profession. And it was all gathered in one space for me. And something inside of me shifted in that moment. It was in that moment that my job that I liked, that I had been good at, that I had been doing for many years at that point, stopped being my job and became my career. Because now I knew I was part of something bigger. So throughout my first summit, I met incredible people. Local members introduced me to leaders and peers from all across the country, many of them who would become friends, mentors, and sources of encouragement for me for years. I'm so grateful to say a lot of those same people are in my life today, all because of IAAP. Without that connection, I wouldn't have known them. And the education, wow. It was the first time I sat in sessions designed specifically for administrative professionals. You guys know what I mean, right? Not borrowed content that we had to change to suit our needs. Our content, tools and strategies delivered, things that were tailored to our roles, to our strengths, to our challenges. I felt like I finally belonged here in this training. More than anything, Summit helped me realize something powerful for myself. It helped me realize that if I wanted others to invest in me, I had to invest in myself first. Let's go back to that one more time. If I wanted others to invest in me, I had to see my own potential and invest in myself first. I had to realize something I had not realized up until that point. And I did. I left Tampa changed. I felt motivated, empowered, and clear on where I wanted my path to lead me. I knew I wanted to serve on the board someday. I knew I wanted to grow in leadership, not just for myself, but so I could help others find their path as well. From that point on, when I came home, I was intentional. I said yes to opportunities that scared the death out of me. I leaned into my voice. I looked for and took every chance at opportunity to grow and to lift others as I did. In 2016, I was elected to the IAAP Board of Directors, and in 2019, I had the honor of serving as board chair and president. Along the way, I discovered love for teaching, for mentoring, and for advocating for those people who haven't yet found their voice. And I can trace it all, the relationships, the leadership journey, the confidence, back to that one moment on an escalator in 2007. It changed everything for me. It turned my job into a career rooted in passion and purpose and community and a deep belief of the power of our profession. So if this is your first summit, welcome. You are exactly where you need to be. You belong here. If it's not your first summit, you know what I mean. You know that feeling. For all of us, who knows, maybe this will be your moment this year. Thank you all for sharing a few minutes with me. Appreciate you all.
Thank you so much, Juanita. That was absolutely beautiful. And yes, I am right there with you. I remember my first, experience, and it changed everything for me, and look where I am now. So yes, absolutely. I'm right there with you. Next up, we have Mia Lane joining us today. Mia, I'm going to toss it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mia Lane. I currently work at UKG. I am an EA manager, and I also support an executive. And today I would just like to kind of share my story about an experience that I had attending Summit. So my first Summit happened in 2022. I really didn't know what to expect. I was excited. I was nervous. I was all the things. But there's something about when you are surrounded by powerhouse administrative professionals, it just humbles you. But that feeling does not last long, because when you go to Summit, they have a way of wrapping you into the community and just making you feel part of everything that's going on. So now I just want to pivot to the gala. The gowns, the energy, the vibe. It was more than anyone could imagine. And that's the moment that truly captured my heart, was the awards ceremony when they presented the partnership award. So as I was in my chair and I listened to the story of the executive assistant and her executive who had built such a meaningful partnership, I immediately thought about the partnership that I had with my executive. I had a 6-year partnership with Scott Howitt. And Scott didn't just see me as an assistant. He saw me as a strategic partner. And to this day, our relationship has been one of the most impactful of my entire career. And just to kind of reiterate on strategic partnership, what it means to me, it means that you're not just taking direction, you're anticipating. You're not just executing, you're contributing to decisions that are being made. You're not just supporting a leader, you are a leader, and you're a leader in tandem with your executive. Scott and I had all of that. We worked so well together. He empowered me to lead, speak on his behalf, take initiative, and he even promoted me into this position that I hold today, to manage a team of EAs within his organization. It was clear that he was in my corner. What motivated our relationship was simple: mutual respect, mutual commitment. We were aligned in purpose. We celebrated wins together and we tackled challenges as a united front. That's the kind of partnership that just isn't rare, but it's powerful. So after the first summit, I was so inspired, so much that in 2023, Scott and I applied for the partnership award. We filled out the application, we shared our story, we participated in a video interview highlighting all the ways that we work well together. But guess what? We didn't win. Wah, wah. I wasn't discouraged though, because I believed in the story that we had, and I knew that it was different, and I felt like it was powerful, and I was like, I am not going to give up. So in 2024, I went back to Scott and I said, hey, remember that what we did last year? He goes, yeah, the one we didn't win. I was like, well, you didn't have to say it like that, but yeah, the one that we are gonna win this year. I said, we're gonna be positive. I feel like it's important. So we applied again. We did all the things, the application, another video interview, had to answer totally different questions. And guess what? This time we won. In May 2024, I received the email saying that we were named the recipients of the Partnership Award. I was overwhelmed with pride, gratitude, emotion. It just felt so surreal. It's a moment that I will never forget. And after reaching out to my executive, I immediately emailed and shared the news with Melissa Mahoney and Rachel Suman. They both replied right away, telling me it was well deserved and I was a great role model and all the just compliments that they could give. But did you hear what I said? I emailed the top 2 executives of IAAP and they both responded back to me. How cool is that? To have people that have been in our shoes, that have escalated to the top, and they have not forgot where they came from. So if you have not tuned in to their podcast on YouTube, Beyond the Desk, I highly encourage that you check them out. So back to my story. Scott could not attend in person. He was out of the country on vacation, but he did record a heartfelt video that was played just before I went on stage. So watching his message, hearing his voice, and standing up to accept that award was just everything to me. I thought back to 2022, sitting in that very audience, watching someone else receive the award that I wanted so much, and hoping that one day it would be me. Winning meant everything, but not just because it recognized our partnership, but because it honored what we strive for, which is a seat at the table, a trusted voice, a respected partnership. That's what IAAP Summit means to me. It's not just a conference, it's a community. It's a place where we work and your leadership and your voice are not only welcomed, but they are celebrated. So if this is your first summit, my advice is simple. Get out of your comfort zone, network, 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 connect with all the people, and tell your story, because the connections that you make are powerful and they are necessary. So as you take in everything that Summit has to offer, hold on to this. Know your value by recognizing the impact that you bring into the room. Know your worth by standing confidently in who you are and what you believe in and what you deserve. And remember, you are somebody, not just today, but tomorrow and always. Thank you for allowing me to share my story today.
Thank you so much, Mia. That was beautiful and so important and just a really great perspective to share. So thank you very, very much. Next up, we have Veronica Ingram. Veronica, are you ready?
I am. Thank you, Christy. And thank you, Mia and Juanita. It is definitely powerful, encouraging, and inspiring to hear stories about Summit. So for those who don't know me, I'm Veronica Ingram. I support the CEO, Chief of Staff, and Board of Directors for a regional insurance company in Central North Carolina. I've been a member of IAAP since 2016. I am an IAAP volunteer, and I founded Sajovi Group, a training and development company, just under 2 years ago. In general, I'm passionate about community, about purpose and progress, and IAAP Summit has definitely shaped all 3 of those things. So I have not one summit story, but really 2. I'll start with my very first summit. This was also my first IAAP event. So this was in 2017, and the summit was in New Orleans. I traveled by myself, and I didn't know anyone there. I did have an initial goal, though, which was to come back with 3 actionable items just from what I saw on the schedule and the topics that would be covered and presented. So I did return with those 3 and an additional 7. And so out of those combined 10 actionable items, I and my company, we're still using 7 of those since 2017. And that doesn't count the summit since then and what I've learned in the actionable items from each of those summits. And that's been a powerful demonstration of the ROI, the return on investment for me, for my supervisor. And it's one of the reasons that he does not hesitate to support me attending. So back to the first summit. So I'm coming from the airport, sharing a shuttle with another attendee, and we're just talking. Now, I am actually rather introverted, but I'm very, very social. So as we're talking from the ride from the airport to the hotel, And then we're in line waiting to check in. She is connecting with another group of admins that she knew. And this is a team of admins from Tennessee. And one of them, and I'm going to just share a little bit more about her. This is Paris Stucker. She invited me to attend the opening session with her because she knew that I was by myself. So my first thought was, why not? And so I went, and in that opening session, she explained so much to me. Keep in mind, I knew about this much about IAAP before that first summit. And so she's talking to me about like the parade of nations and the flags that are displayed. She shared with me some about IAAP's history. She also shared with me about the very important work of the IAAP Foundation. And so as she's talking to me about these things, I realized, wait a minute, I've already benefited from the foundation's work. And I didn't know it. And then we went to another session together, and she invited me to sit at her table for the gala. And one of the things that I noticed about her, whenever I saw her, even like between sessions, going to different sessions, she always had people with her. And I saw her also inviting others into that, really helping to build community. And Paris is someone that I would describe as a true connector. So since 2017, we both had goals, right, from the summit, and we kept up with each other, encouraging each other to achieve the goal, celebrating when we did. Another thing that I would also add, she's in a very similar role. We both support boards and executives for quasi-governmental entities. And that became an unexpected but very much welcomed mentorship, and then a coaching opportunity for her to coach me so that I could grow in my role. She continues to do this, and even from summit to summit, we still make a plan to meet up. It's usually for a meal, and each time I see her, each meal where we meet up, she always has someone else that she brings with her. And again, that's one of the things that I admire the most about her, and that I also want to imitate that, and I want to do the same because it's such a gift, one that was unexpected, but has continued to give me so much benefits. So from my first summit, I would definitely say lessons learned and what I would encourage. If you're going to be there in person and you're traveling alone, be open to joining others or inviting yourself to join others, be it for a meal or a session. If you're traveling with a group or meeting a group there, definitely be open to inviting someone to join your group. For those who are thinking about attending virtually, as you're interacting with other attendees online, make sure that you build those connections so that you can keep that post-summit. I found for myself, and I think it's probably not just me, but for most of us, connection is powerful, and it can also be a very powerful catalyst for growth. So a more recent summit was, I do believe, in 22. And at this particular summit, I decided to volunteer. So I helped at registration and in a couple other areas. And I realized that in doing that, one, I met a lot of people. And I do enjoy meeting people. But also, I had a lot of fun. I did not know how fun it would be just at registration. Now, additionally, I also got in a lot of steps because I walked people to other areas. So to date, that was the highest step count for any summit ever. So if you have the opportunity to volunteer, I encourage you, hey, why not? Why not volunteer? I also want to share about that summit. I believe it was 22. The closing keynote speaker was Deetra Giles. And she had a very powerful message. She's a wonderful speaker and presenter. And she said two things that really stuck with me. So my takeaway from her message was, one, stop procrastinating. Like all those things that I've wanted to do, that I've thought about doing, just go ahead and do it. And she had a couple of statements that hit me in a particular way. One was, for those of you who are thinking about writing a book, and my initial thought was, oh, that's me. I'm thinking about writing a book. And then she also said, for those of you who are considering starting a business. And then I was like, how does she know? Because I don't know, teacher, but how did she know? Because I was. And what she wrapped up her time with was to consider how we're using our time, our energy, our creativity, our resources, and who does it benefit? And making sure that that is in alignment with our own goals and our own values. And that stuck with me. And as a result of that, that fall, I worked with Paris, the person I met at the very first summit, to plan to launch that business. I realized that this experience does have things that we can all benefit from, but I also want to encourage you to be open to the experiences that may be organic, whether it is someone that you are perhaps in a session with and you have a discussion following up, or maybe you're doing some breakout work in a session, or even just who you might meet. Perhaps if you're attending virtually and you're just in a time to connect and network, or for those of you who may be in person and you're waiting in line for coffee. I know that those opportunities can continue to provide benefit both for you and also to the people that you meet, as well as to your companies. So as you take in everything that Summit has to offer, I encourage you to stay open. Again, whether that's inviting someone to join you for a session, saying yes to a spontaneous lunch, letting a speaker's words really land with you specifically, because you never know what connection or what moment may shape your next step. And if anything I've shared resonates with you, feel free to connect with me. I'll share my LinkedIn in the chat, and I would love to keep the conversation going because this has been very much a pivotal experience attending Summit for me personally and professionally. Thanks so much for letting me share.
Thank you, Veronica. I love the encouragement of the intention setting for attendees this year. So that's really great. Thank you so much. Next, we have Evelyn Bryant. Evelyn, are you ready?
Well, I hope you all can hear me, and I would have been ready if Mia didn't make me cry. Messing up my makeup here. You know, it's already early here in California, but yes, Mia, I got a little emotional there with you. But anyway, so had my tissue though. All right, everyone. So good morning, good afternoon, and hopefully not good evening, but if so, good evening. I'm Evelyn Bryant. I'm here in the Pacific region. I'm the IAAP's branch director for the Inland Empire branch. I've been a member of IAAP for more than 17 years. And I'm really glad to be here today to share some of my summit stories. And Juanita, yes, EFAM. I thought about that this morning, like, wow. It's been some years that I've been a member and I've been attending Summit, but anyway, sorry, I'm just cracking myself up here. But yes, EFAM was what it was called back in the day, and then it was changed to Summit. But in my understanding, Summit really means leaders, leadership. So it's sort of interesting how the name changed and the direction that we're going in. So for many years, I've been attending Summit since before 2014. And for many years, I would always go really for my own individual interest, for my own self-development, for my own growth, because I'm very, very self-motivated. But my most memorable Summit experience is actually very recent, from 2023 in Orlando. I attended, and I was walking through the lobbies. I think they were having like the vendor setups that particular day. And I walked in, and then Rachel Suman was there, and she complimented me on my dress. And the dress I was wearing, I thought was a little bit sort of a loud dress. You know, it was all these paisley colors, all on top of like a hot pink, and it was kind of short. And so I kind of felt like, oh, and I was like, oh, you mean this dress? And so she's like, oh yes, that's a really beautiful dress. And I really didn't think of it that way, but so we started talking and chit chatting. And the more we talked, we found out that the city that I live in now, here in California, she used to live here as well. So we really start feeling like we were connected, and we just, kept talking and talking and talking. And so after that conversation, we had made a commitment to stay in touch and to really, start connecting. And actually, we actually did that. And, Rachel was still, being the chief experience officer. She made time for me. And we started having a few CNCs to build rapport and everything. And then shortly after that, Rachel started inviting me to join different speaker panels, to just speak and share stories and share my background knowledge and information. And so from those connections, as the branch director for the Inland Empire here in the Pacific region, I started hosting branch events that were often sold out. And it was sort of interesting because, I had no experience in doing anything like this, but I knew when I heard about branch directing, I just felt something inside that was something I was supposed to be doing. And so when I started doing it, the events would, sell out. And I was like, oh, okay, this is great. Then shortly after that, I had an opportunity to be highlighted in the Office Pro magazine under the profiles of local leadership. And actually, this weekend, as I was reading the current issue of Office Pro about sparking, it's all about sparking within. I was just reading through, and an article that Melissa Mahoney wrote mentioned my name, and I was just reading it, and then my name was there along with Christie's about how we collaborate. Um, and so I kind of, wiped my eyes. I did a little double take, and there it was. My name was there, and I was like, wow, okay. And so and now I'm considered one of the IAAP's administrative visionaries, which Christy defined, but I'm going to say a little bit more here, which in short is defined as a forward-thinking leader who helps shape the future of the administrative profession via lifelong learning to continuously enhance their skills and knowledge. So attending Summit is a lot about um, self-improvement, but it's also about networking and building partnerships. And I just, I think what keeps me coming back, I know at this point, is the amazing content that they provide to the attendees. The content is just more and more robust, and it really aligns with the needs of an administrative professional. Um, they they come up with different topics, and I think the way that we're moving is into the future of leadership, which is, of course, this year's theme. And they really make sure that they give topics and content that are going to benefit us as administrative professionals. Because of what we do, our roles have massively changed. So we're just definitely not doing a lot of the things that we used to do way back in the day. Like right now, we're focusing more on leadership, project management, technology, and emotional intelligence, and like the C-suite, supporting C-suite management, as well as becoming C-suite management. So there's a vast amount of information that Summit will provide to all of its attendees, whatever it is that your dreams and goals are. Another thing that keeps me coming back to Summit is the facilitators, the vendors, the leaders. They're just so approachable. You have access to be able to connect and network, and as Mia said, and network with everyone. And then you get to do that from people from around the globe. So it's just really interesting being able to meet people from different backgrounds and upbringings. Another fun part too of going to Summit that I just thought was really interesting, and it's kind of a fun thing, but when you come in, there's a welcome reception, and then there's a live band, and then, there drinks and just finger foods and different things. And it gives you a chance to sort of warm up to what the event is going to be. And they really do these things to welcome you as an attendee, to make you really feel welcome and to say, hey, we want you to have fun as soon as you walk into the door. And then during the event, you also get little, well, I want to call it like a perk, but they offer the headshots for affordable headshots and different things like that, so that you can, boost up your professional presence, however you do so, in your resume, your business cards, on social media and everything. Also, I think with just the IAAP in general, they're just so innovative. If we just continuously grow, and they offer, I won't say we, because, well, I guess I am a part of IAAP, but doing the volunteer leadership, but they're just the innovation and creativity to develop admins is just constantly growing and growing and growing. We have the podcast, the Office Pro, the blogs, the allies and admins, the training, and then best of all, the certification. So there's just so many opportunities for growth and development. And then going back to the 2023 summit, one of my favorite parts was the closing keynote speaker. His name was Ted Ma, and his closing keynote was titled simply Be the One. Well, it was Be the One and How to Lead Others in Their Personal Brand Journey. But basically, he was saying to be the one to help motivate and inspire someone, even if it's just one person. But being able to take someone to a higher level to progress and do better in their career is amazing. He had also mentioned Crystal Washington, and Crystal Washington had provided the opening keynote speech. And Ted was just noting that the night before her speech, she had won an award as a speaker. And so Ted really wanted us to know that IAAP gives the best to the best, and we are the best administrative professionals. Sorry, I get a little emotional sometimes, but Ted Ma was basically saying that, letting us know that IAAP for sure gives us the best of the best. They really invest the time, the energy, the funds, and the effort to give us a better future in the administrative profession and the things that we are pursuing. So, definitely attending Summit is going to benefit you in so many ways. There's just not one way to even describe it. You just really have to go and find what types of content and resources resonate with you. And it's going to just, I don't know, the opportunities and the benefits are endless with IAAP. And it's so much opportunity and growth, especially through networking, because everyone in attendance, from the attendees to the leadership, makes themselves available for the benefit of our profession. Thank you for letting me talk today, and I'm so honored and happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. That was beautiful. And I, special thank you to Juanita and Mia and Veronica and Evelyn. Thank you for sharing stories that are so personal, because I think Summit is really personal. It is not just a work experience. There's a lot to be personally gained from, attending this conference. So thank you for being vulnerable with us and sharing. I do want to open the floor now. If we have people on this call who've attended Summit before, I open you to either in the chat or maybe come off mute. Share an inspirational moment that really stayed with you, a moment that moved you or shifted your perspective or sparked your growth. Or if you're someone who has not attended Summit and you are planning to, what are you hoping to discover? So I put those questions out there. If anyone else on this call would like to share. Anybody?
Christy?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can put my hand down. Oh, there we go.
Okay, good.
I'm Laura Millward, and I've been a member of IAAP, and before that, PSI. So I've been around the block a few times. And IAAP has been so beneficial. Well, wait a minute. I was trying to get my camera on. Sorry. So beneficial to me in so many ways, except for technology. But I work for a large company that has admins across the U.S. And I have been promoting IAAP throughout the company. So now we have our own group within the company across the US. But I am also promoting IAAP and Summit. Last year, one of my colleagues in Houston came to Summit and 2 colleagues in Raleigh. They've spread the word to others. And I can't even explain how much I've gotten out of this. I wasn't much into leadership roles before, but after going to these conferences, I became the president of our local organization years ago. But the networking and the educational things you all teach are just simply amazing. And I was thinking about volunteering, hearing the other speaker talk about how she helped with registration. And I wasn't sure I was going to go this year, but my company, the admins, just in the last month or so, have gotten so fired up about their capabilities, what they can do, how they affect our company in a positive way, that I want to promote IAAP more. And so I'm going to do what I can to attend this year, whether company pays or not, but I prefer they pay.
Right. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And, I definitely would encourage you to meet with me during office hours if you'd like some resources on how to put in the ask. And also, I'm happy to connect you with Roy DeFore, who organizes the volunteers on site if you are looking to participate in that way. But that's a lovely story. Thank you so much for sharing. I did see someone else had their hand up as well.
That would be me.
Hello.
I bet I know who that is.
Hi, Laura.
That's my colleague that I roomed with last year in New York, and we had a fabulous time. Why don't you have your camera on, Sean?
You know, sometimes we have problems with technology.
Okay.
But anyway, yes, I'm the person she was speaking of. We talked, Laura and I talked. This will be my second year going to IAAP. And Lauren talks so much about it. I told my boss about it, and they're like, we're all about promoting leadership and you learning more, anything for growth. So that's how I went, but I'd never met Laura in my life. And
we met at the airport.
We met at the airport. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm at the airport waiting. She's coming down the elevator, and I say, I'm the one waving. I'm the one waving. And that's how we met. And IAAP, it was so encouraging. And I'm already a person that I think I like to lead because they let me lead here at my facility here in Texas.
Amen.
So that was right down my alley, just to hear other people, to make me become more outgoing than I already am. And I brought back so many aspects from IAAP and taught the people here. And like Laura says, it makes you want to get other administrative assistants involved. And she is very good with doing that. I mean, our company's our company's group has grown so much with admins because of Laura and her leadership. So I give all kudos to her and to IAAP, and I'm looking forward. I cannot wait to go to Chicago. I am so ready. I've already registered. I've already booked my hotel. And this week I'm booking my air flight. So I'm ready to go.
I love that. And thank you both for sharing. And it specifically highlights, the connection. When I think about IAAP, before I was programs manager, when I was just a member, there is a spark within this community. The connection is unreal. Like, that's what I think truly makes it next level, is all of these wonderful people wanting to connect. And you can hear it right on this phone call, all just the wonderful relationships built off of this. So thank you both for sharing and sharing your lovely connection.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to share? I do see a request in the chat for the link to register. I will pull that up really quickly. Give me a moment. All right, here I am putting in the chat the link to register. But also, if you go to our website, I believe I mentioned previously, there are resources to ask your employer for support. I know I used to work for a state government entity and they needed like an agenda as well to put in the ask. And so there's a brochure out there to attach with that ask if you need help asking your employer. And on that same note, tomorrow I am also hosting a summit interest session. It's the second one. We had one a couple weeks ago that was very popular. So if you're looking for some resources and making connections with people who have needed to ask their employer for support to attend, that'll be a call that'll take a deep dive into how to do that and share those resources. So that is also tomorrow. But I want to go back to sharing stories. Is there anyone else who would like to share about their experiences at Summit? Or someone who is attending this year for the first time that has something they're really looking forward to?
I can share.
Oh, Kathy, hey.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to see my friends on the panel today. So I joined because Mia told me she was speaking, and then Evelyn was going to be there, and Veronica and Juanita. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take time to join. So for me, my company don't pay. And so for my friend Jennifer, we work for the same company, but I would say each line of business is a different company. So my first time was virtual during COVID. I think it was free virtual. Then the next year, someone couldn't go and they gave me their registration. So I had to pay for my own flight and I stayed in a room with Jennifer. And it was just an awesome time and experience to meet people that you only see on LinkedIn. I think I met Veronica that year. We was in Florida for the first time. Jennifer introduced me to everybody. So she probably introduced me to everybody on here that was there. I just don't remember everybody. But it was just great being in the same room with people like-minded and connecting and networking. And also that year, I reconnected with my cousins that I never met in person. And so it was like a reunion for me as well. So that was, you never know what's going to happen to someone. I think someone else said that. And then last year, I won a scholarship. I think she's on here. I thought I saw her name. But I won the scholarship for the ones in Hawaii. First, I had just won the registration. So I was trying to like, oh God, I have to ask my company to pay. How's this going to go? Because I really just need them to pay for my air because I could stay in the room with Jennifer. But then I got an email back that I won a full scholarship. So I was so excited to go again and connect and again meet different people. And I think that year, Jennifer had talked to me about Mia forever. She wanted me to meet this lady named Mia. I'm like, okay, whoever Mia is, not teasing. And so me and Mia finally connected last year at Summit. And then this year, I'm excited to be one of the speakers under the Dream. What's the name? Tell me out, Christy. I'm sorry.
Dream and Develop Experience.
So I am excited and looking forward to sharing and getting the admins to dream and see themselves as strategic partners and administrators. Professional is a career, and you are not just an admin. You are number one admin in the universe. Speak that over yourself. Speak life over you. So I just wanted to share real quickly because I'm not on the panelist, but I want to introduce myself. And you're going to be in my hometown, Chi-Town. So make sure you get some good food. And I hope to connect with all of you really soon. So thank you, Christy, for this opportunity.
Absolutely. And Kathy could have very well been on the panel because she's also an admin visionary. That's why she's helping participate in the Dream and Develop. So thank you for joining us. Value add, one more of our admin visionaries. We have 10 overall that will be on site for Summit. And so we have 5 of them on this call today.
Awesome. And we're looking forward to share with you guys. I'm excited.
Anybody else? Well, that is all right. If we don't all want to share, there will be more opportunities. So if you are registering for Summit or have already registered, there will be a CNC, which is for all people, new first timers or returners to Summit. That'll be within 2 weeks of us being on site, another connection opportunity. And then if you are a first timer, we also host a first time attendees call specifically to help you have a little bit of an orientation before you arrive on site, especially if it might be your first professional development conference. As I mentioned, please reach out to me in all the ways if you have any questions at all. Email me, let's have a one-on-one, join me at office hours. Happy to answer any of your questions and, make you feel comfortable and ready to attend. I do want to say thank you one more time to our fantastic admin visionaries, Mia and Juanita and Veronica and Evelyn, plus Kathy Adams, who joined us today to share their stories. I think it's so important and special, and so I really, really appreciate it. And with that being said, I'm going to stop record, and I hope the rest of you all enjoy your day, and I look forward to seeing you in Chicago. Have a great day, everyone.
Great.